KC acquired Orlando Brown from the Ravens over the weekend to go along with guard Joe Thuney and Cal Long on the newly reformed line. So, Shannon, does this make the Chiefs the prohibitive Super Bowl favorite?
I think the thing is, Skip, as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, they're always going to be a favorite contender. They're going to be no more than third. I love what they've dressed. They've dressed need. The offensive line, you go back and look at the tape, Skip, they feel this is where they lost the game at. Patrick Mahomes didn't have time to go through his reads. They didn't do a very good job. And what they gave up, the 31st pick in the draft, and I think they gave up what? They switched. They got Kansas City get a second this year, and I think they get a fourth the next year or something like that. So that's not a steep price to pay. Orlando Brown Jr. is 24 years of age. He's going to turn 25 this year. So a two-time Pro Bowl player that went to the Pro Bowl as a right tackle last year, filling in for Ronnie Staley after 11 games, goes to the Pro Bowl as a left tackle. You get him. You get Cal Long, who's healthy. If Cal Long was one of the better guards, he could also play right tackle. Was one of the better offensive linemen in all of football before injuries besieged him, and he stepped away from the game. They signed Joe Thuney, Austin Blythe, who started every single game for the Rams, Skip. And now, Niang and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif.
Yep. The doctor is in again, right?
Skip, they opted out. So I love what they've done. This is a complete overhaul of an offensive line, or what Andy Reid's estimation was a weak link, which caused us. And who knows, maybe, Skip, if everybody's healthy, Tampa still beats the hell out of them. But I think it left a really nasty taste in his mouth that Patrick Mahomes spent the better part of that game running for his life. And he says that's not going to happen again. They've upgraded their offensive line. I believe their offensive line is better than what it was last year. And are they the team to beat in the AFC? Yes, I do. So, yeah, the Chiefs get Orlando Brown, second-round pick in the sixth round of next year. The Ravens get the first pick, third-round pick in the fourth round of next year, sixth round of next year. Skip, that's not a steep price. They completely overbid. So now, what can the Chiefs do with two second-round picks? Defense. Whatever position you want. You want a D-line, you want a rush in, get him. You want somebody to parasite Chris Jones, get him. You want a linebacker, get him. You want a safety to go with Honey Badger or corner, go get him. You need defense. They've addressed the offensive needs. Now, maybe they're still in play for Antonio Brown, Skip. I don't know. But with the addressing of the offensive line, I think Andy feels good. And so now his mind is, he can rest easy saying, you know what? We shored up our offensive line. Now let's go get some defensive guys to go get after the quarterback. I love what Kansas City has done. They're a major player again.
Okay, so you didn't answer Jenny's question. Prohibitive favorites?
No, not the prohibitive favorite. No, there is no prohibitive. You look at Tampa, Green Bay, but prohibitive, no. No.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win next year's Super Bowl. I've already told you that.
Well, Fox Bet doesn't have them as the prohibitive favorite.
I got that. I'm just telling you what I believe, and I believed that last year, and you doubted me all year long, and it ended up costing you in the last 3 playoff games 15 cases of Diet Mountain Dew. And you're still not seeing the forest for the trees.
Do you believe Kansas City's offensive line is better than what they brought to the Super Bowl?
I know Orlando Brown. I watched every snap he took at the University of Oklahoma protecting Baker Mayfield's blind side, and he allowed 1 sack in all the time he protected Baker because he is a beast.
He's a mammoth of a man.
and he is a beast of a run blocker, too. For some reason, he had such an awful combine that everybody wrote him off. And I don't know. That's why you better be careful with your combines or your pro days.
What did it take? Because, Skip, they disregarded everything they saw on tape and took all the things that he failed at. You know, he ran slow in the 40. His measurable, first of all, I don't even know why offensive linemen running 3 cones. Why the hell they going to run 3 cones? They ain't running no 3 cones. They ain't changing the...
He couldn't bench press.
Right.
Okay.
Skip, but what did the tape tell you? You said he gave up 1 sack. That was the same Orlando Brown that couldn't run very fast, couldn't jump very high or very far. He did that on tape.
Trust me, on tape, he bulldozed.
Yes.
Bulldozed. And everybody said, out, we're out. And he falls all the way to the 3rd round, and I'm sure Ozzie was in the middle of this and said, I'll take him.
That's what
3rd round, I'll take him. And a Pro Bowl happened, right? And here you go, and then he gets bitter about... My father wanted me to be a left tackle, and his father was a really good NFL player, as you well know. And he wanted to play left, and they said, you got to move back to right. And so...
They just gave Ronnie Staley $100 million.
I got it.
And he knows the money is at left tackle. Right tackles get paid, but they don't get paid like the left tackles get.
So he actually went NBA on an NFL team and said, I want out.
Right.
And they said, okay.
Yeah. That's one thing. Skip, the Ravens, they only want players that want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, they will do everything they possibly can to accommodate you. Now, they're going to try to get compensation, fair compensation. I believe this is fair compensation for Orlando Brown. But, you know, you get a first-round pick, you get a third rounder, you get a fourth and a sixth next year. So
I got it.
But he wasn't happy. Like you said, he wasn't happy. So
clearly they have gotten more talented in their offensive line.
Yes.
I don't know if they've gotten more cohesive than they were 2 years ago because
they played together for it.
You're throwing all these new pieces together, and you never know how they're all going to fit.
Correct.
And they overpaid for Joe Thuney, but maybe it'll pay off because you had to overpay because you were that desperate to fix your offensive line. Okay, so now we look at Tampa's offensive line, and I remind everybody, they lost their left guard ahead of the Super Bowl. They didn't have Alex Kappa, and so they had to put Aaron Stinney in, a backup at left guard, and they managed to get through the Super Bowl with him at left guard. And Tristan Wirfs was a rookie right tackle playing in the Super Bowl. I didn't hear his name called. He didn't give up any sacks.
He was spectacular all year.
Okay, so, but he was a rookie. So, again, Alex Kappa is back, so I can argue that Brady's protection got even a little better going to next year. And what did Brady say during Super Bowl week? He vowed, we will be better next year. Well, they will be on continuity, reps, experience together, and everybody is back except for the moment, Antonio.
Right.
And maybe he's the swing figure between Kansas City and Tampa. My gut tells me he's going to be back with Tom Brady. Right. Your gut tells you that he's going to get more money to play for Kansas City. We'll see how that all shakes out maybe after the draft when the smoke clears and they all see what they came up with in the draft. I'm also going to remind you, Brady's team has every draft pick that they have spent none to get this good. They have, it's the bottom pick, obviously. It goes 32nd and 64th, and it goes right down the line. They have all 7 of their bottom-of-the-round draft picks. That's pretty valuable. Yeah. You can really take some shots to plug any hole that you think you might have.
Well, they've done a great job in the picks that they did. Like, you know, they selected Levante David. They got Devin White, Mike Evans. So Skip, Chris Godwin. So when they have picked, now normally the picks are a little higher. But so this is foreign territory, Skip, for them to pick and be picking so far down. So now you got to be really, really good. Now maybe somebody's like, you know what? We want to come back up into the first round. There's somebody we like. Tampa, I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa trade out in the first round.
Could happen, especially if they're sitting on somebody higher in the second round. They think they could get more picks. Okay, I got that. But they even added Giovanni Bernard, and you laughed or scoffed at that. But again, how do you do that? Because you said there's no way they can bring back everybody, and it cost you 5 more cases of Diet Duke. They brought back everybody, including your man, Sue.
You talk about Giovanni Bernard, man.
Well, is it not a little icing on the cake?
No.
He's sudden.
He a cupcake with no icing.
Oh, stop it.
That's what he is, Skip. Stop it.
He's a third down back who can catch it. He's James White.
If you'd told me you got Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, I said, oh, it's over.
Okay, they don't need that. They already have that.
What they have it at?
They have Leonard Fournette. They have Rojo.
Now all of a sudden you love Lenny. You love Lenny.
Playoff Lenny. Was he not great in the postseason? He was great, and he's back.
Skip, he played